What up, mages? Elden Ring video. This is for my mage builds out there. So I want to address like the Adula's Moonblade getting nerfed and some of the other options that you have that are every bit as good, if not better. Now, the cool thing about Adula's Moonblade previously was it was just so overpowered. Like, and the only thing that really got the nerf was just the initial attack. Was this one? You could do like the follow up, and it still does the same amount of damage, still has the same range, still has the same frost buildup, etc. So the nerf to it, while it's definitely not as good and definitely not as strong as it was, doesn't mean you have to be discouraged from using Adula's Moonblade or even using mage builds, because you have other options in here. We have the Darkmoon Greatsword, which is every bit as good as Adula's Moonblade. The R1 attack is faster. I'll go ahead and apply the frost damage to it. This is R1, this is faster than Adula's Moonblade. So the R2 attack is the same attack. It just doesn't have quite as big of an area of attack or area of effect as the Adula's Moonblade, but it's still really good. Of course, you could two-hand it, and it's going to do more damage. And of course, it's not going to be as fast with the R1 when you two-hand it, but it does do more damage. With that said, some other options in here that you should consider if you are a mage build and you want to do frost damage buildup. Look at the Royal Greatsword, this one right here. I'm just going to show you. So it infuse the Greatsword with frost, then perform a forward somersault to plunge it into the ground and pull it out and release a cold blast. So this one right here is really good, and the cool thing about it was it's got a buff, so you're not going to get knocked out of the weapon art as easily as, like if you do Adula's Moonblade, small enemies will knock you out of that animation. And if you look, I have 52 poise. So if I put the Bull Goat's Talisman on, I'll have 69 because it gives me, I think, plus 17 or something like that with that particular talisman. But you don't even need that. Another one that's really good, now it doesn't do frost damage, but one that I encourage you to use because this is every bit as good, if not better, than Adula's Moonblade. And you could use it at close range. It does physical and magic damage. You see right there, over 550 physical and 250 magic. It scales with intelligence at D tier, which is not great, but, whatever. It scales with strength at C and dex at D. Now, I have 50 strength and dex, and I have 80 intelligence because I'm level 237. Now, keep in mind, I'm on New Game Plus 4 right now with this demo right here. So, with that said, you have the critical at 100 for attack power, physical 297, magic 191, and then with the scaling 265, 62. But I just want to show you this attack right here, and there are other weapons too in there that you could utilize that are going to do frost buildup, because the frost buildup, that was one of the cool things about Adula's Moonblade, is when you did that initial strike on them, it would actually, let me just touch the grace here, it would actually inflict them with the frost damage after 1 or 2 strikes on some of the big bosses, maybe 3 depending on which boss it was, and of course that's going to lower their magic damage negation. So their damage their magic defense is going to be lower. So then you could start hitting them with Rock Sling or Glintstone Comet or whatever it is, whatever spell you wanted to hit on them with. But with the Star Scourge Dawn, I just want you to look at this right here. So I'm going to two-hand it, which actually dual wields it. And I just want you to watch the area of effect. Now, this does the same amount of damage as, and it does the same amount of FP, or it uses the same amount of FP as Adula's Moonblade, but you cannot get knocked out of this animation by most enemies other than bosses and stuff. And then again, you can put the Bull Goat's Talisman, you can apply different armor. Now, the armor that I have here gives me 50 poise. It's the veteran armor with the Blythe's Greaves. And then you can use whatever you want for the Snow Witch hat or the Spellblade glove. You can increase your strength or increase your dex or your intelligence, whatever helm, boost that up, because that's what these weapons scale with. But I just want you to watch. So look, I'm locked onto this guy. I'm standing about right here. And this is a double L2 attack, so it's going to do one initial phase where it does the gravity pull, and then you do another one where it's going to strike the ground, and then just completely So I killed, he has half his health. So I killed 4.5 enemies with that attack. The 2 that were there, the 2 on the right, and then half attack on the other one. Now I'm going to show you Adula's Moonblade. I'm going to go to the same spot. Now I am using Lusat's staff here because it does a lot of damage with this particular attack. I'm going to lock onto the same guy, standing in about the same spot, more or less. And I'm just going to hit L1. So I killed 1.5 of these enemies, and I used more FP because with the Star Scourge Radon attack right there, or the Greatsword attack, my FP meter went just past where my green stamina bar ends. And I'll show you that again. I'll show you again. And I killed 4.5 enemies, or, I killed 4 and did half damage on another one. We're in about the same spot right here. So again, I'm going to dual wield this just for the extra damage. And then I'm just going to hit L2. And then L2 again. And then we got this guy at halfway. Look at my meter, my FP meter. And I want to show you that this doesn't get knocked out. He hit me with that little rolling spike animation, and it didn't kill me. Yes, I lost health, but it didn't knock me out of the animation, and I wiped all those enemies off. I just completely deleted them. Adula's Moonblade, you get hit, he could, like, one of these little small ones can strike you. We're just going to aggro this guy right here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. What I wanted to do was, this. And I just want to show you Adula's Moonblade here. Okay, he didn't knock me out of it, but I couldn't get, like, the Adula's Moonblade off. I was sitting there just smashing L1. I couldn't get it off, and then when he rolled into me with those spikes, they just completely deleted me. That doesn't happen with the Greatsword, like, animations. Whether you use the Darkmoon Greatsword, whether you use the Radon's, item, whether you use some of the other ones, like the Royal Greatsword, like, you could use that. It has frost damage on it. But anyway, the whole point of this video is, it sucks that Adula's Moonblade caught a nerf or whatever, but there's other weapons that you could use that are just as good, that apply just as much damage. You could go with Moonveil, causes blood loss, scales. You could use the cold Uchigatana by applying the Ash of War to it, where it does the Chilling Mist. It does 105 frost buildup. It also does blood loss buildup, which, that got a nerf too. But I'm just saying, it still does the same amount of blood loss buildup, with it. You have other weapons. You have the Rasu's Axe. Like, this is not even leveled all the way up, but it's got D intelligence scaling. Just go through them. Another really good one, Bastard Stars. The scale B scaling intelligence, really good. You have the Falling Star, Beast Jaw, D tier scaling. Up here we got Wing of the Stale, B tier scaling for intelligence. And then come down here, we got some of these right here. Clay Moon's Cold Harpoon, and I have Frost on that, and it causes 105 frost buildup. The range on it is every bit as good as Adula's Moonblade, but it just doesn't have as wide of an area of attack. You have right here, like the Halo Scythe. Now, this doesn't do frost buildup, but it does holy damage. Doesn't scale with intelligence, but still something that you could use for, holy damage is actually pretty good. The Cold Dagger, frost buildup of 102, and it's not even leveled up. Now, if I leveled this up to plus 25, it would do it, and I also have the Hoarfrost Stomp on there, so you're getting that frost buildup, and then you have the Slash Pierce, and then, of course, my favorite, the Darkmoon Greatsword, which is, in my opinion, better than the Adula's Moonblade. You just have to get used to utilizing it in game, and it has B tier intelligence and also strength and dex. So if you put a little of your attribute points into strength and dex, or you can do like I did and then just boost it up with like Radagon Source Seal, these heirlooms like for strength and dexterity, and then you could use stuff like Godfrey Icon to enhance like your charged spells and skills, which would be your weapon art. Of course, you got other ones in here, stuff like this, raises attack power when HP is at maximum. If you have the fire, or not, the magic scorpion charm, which I don't actually have on this account, you could utilize that. You could greatly use like potency of sorceries. I mean, there's so many different little things like you could boost up like with some of these attacks on here, that you just need to go in there and figure out what works best for you. But don't get so upset that the Adula's Moonblade got a nerf. Yes, it sucks. I'm in full agreement that it sucks that they nerfed it, but I don't think it's as bad as some people are making it out to be. Anyway, if you have questions or comments, leave that down below. Make sure you try out the Star Scourge, Master Sword, or Great Sword, or whatever it is, because it is a really OP weapon. It's really good. That scales with intelligence and has magic damage, and I like it a lot. So that was why I made the video. But there's also other options in there that you can utilize to kind of replace Adula's Moonblade. I'm out. Peace.